Welcome to Discover Indie Film. I'm your host, Jeff Howard, and I've got Dominique Draper with me. Hey, Dominique.
Hey, Jeff. How you doing?
I'm doing good. All right, so we just had a fantastic conversation. So if you're listening to this podcast and you didn't listen to the one before it, listen to the one before it. It's funny, I could have looked it up at what number it is. But anyway, listen to the one before this one for an interview with Dominique all about his film, Hell of a Child, his upcoming projects like The Day You Find Your Name. Excellent stuff. These are all clickable show notes so you can find the stuff. And but I will mention that Hell of a Child, I met Dominique because he brought his film, Hell of a Child. It had its theatrical premiere at the Sherman Oaks Film Festival in 2023. Won the Programmer's Prize. Fantastic film.
Yes, thank you.
Just appreciate it so much. And so you can learn all about that film in the podcast before this one. This podcast is going to be Dominique answering the Discover Indie Film. Bleh, I almost got that perfect. The Discover Indie Film 4 questions, which are: name 3 favorite films, a film that's underrated, a film that's overrated, and a lesser-known film that people should seek out. Sometimes I share this. It's just I have a friend who's like a professional drummer, and all he does on his social media is start arguments where he says the most underrated musician of all time is, and then everyone argues with him, and he says the most overrated person, the most underrated person. I'm like, he does that for music, I should do it for film. So here we go. But the first question is name 3 favorite films, and that's kind of with purpose because I'm not saying the best 3 films of all time, just 3 films you truly love.
3 films. So first, no order, but first, Godfather 1 and 2. That's one film.
Agreed.
Gotta watch them together.
No problem.
2, I would say Spike Lee's Malcolm X. I've seen it. I just seen it recently and on film at the theater here, and watching that film on film is different. I've seen it a million times on DVD, but watching it on film, you see the true print, you see the true color. I feel like I time traveled back to when they shot this film. So that was a new experience watching that film on film. And I would say John Singleton's Baby Boy.
I'm glad you mentioned Baby Boy because when you were talking in your interview podcast, and you were talking about Singleton, I was tempted to bring up how Baby Boy is one of my favorites.
Really?
Yeah, because it's such a good film, and I think a lot of people, everyone focuses on Boys in the Hood.
Yes.
And I get it. It was more universal, and it had,
for the 90s, but and I guess an authentic story maybe during that time in Hollywood. It was Colors. It was some other films that was out that wasn't told by black filmmakers. So I think that was that wow factor. It was a great story, but that was a wow factor because John being black. But Baby Boy, oh man, just that boy to man stage. We've all as men,
and he really dove into how male maturity can get stunted at times.
Yes,
and who makes films about that?
Right.
No one makes films about that. I find it. I'm delighted. I'm delighted. And yeah, Godfather 1 and 2. If you had to pick one, do you have a favorite? No, they're just the same.
Man,
because I got a bias. I like 1 better personally.
I'm it's 1. It's
got to be 1.
It's really 1, and I'm upset right now how they kicked my man Sonny in the face. I still get upset every time I think about this, man. So it's definitely 1.
I'm with you. But not that you need. If you had said to, and a lot of people, it's one of those films, right? Some people say that that's one of the few times when the sequel was better than the first. I don't agree with that, but they have a right to say it.
No, I think they're married for sure. You can definitely see they go together. We don't talk about the other one, But these
number 3,
we don't talk about that one. The 1 and 2, they clearly you could tell that they go together, or it was trying to keep this storyline going. But 1 is amazing. I love it.
Yeah, I don't know. They must have written him a really nice paycheck to make 3.
For sure.
But he deserves that because
I'm not mad at him.
You want to hear? I'm going to share with you a funny story. Something I learned in the 90s was most of the equipment houses around LA, especially in the Valley, Burbank and stuff, there was a thing, Francis Ford Coppola's company was American Zoetrope. Mm-hmm. People would put their bounce checks that he wrote to them on the wall. How a lot of people with the first dollar bill they ever made on the wall, they were Francis Ford Coppola bounced a check on us because American Zoetrope was always broke, and he would write checks for equipment, and then they would come back from the bank as unpaid. And so, like, I was in like 2 or 3 equipment houses that had a American Zoetrope. But this was 30 plus years ago, so I don't know if they're still around, but
I'm sure they got a picture of it, or they got it framed. So that's funny though to see.
That is funny, right? Like that. So he was like,
film industry, everyone.
He was like, I better make another Godfather because I want to buy that winery. No, anyway.
And what was the other Apocalypse Now?
I think he did Apocalypse Now. Why am I forgetting the other ones? Tucker. A lot of good. He's a talented guy.
Yeah, amazing.
For sure. Another USC fellow, no?
Did he?
Maybe not. Maybe he was just friends with those USC guys.
Yeah. He grew up.
He was friends with Lucas.
That film school kind of film brat era.
Yeah, like he and Lucas and Spielberg and Scorsese. Yeah, they were all like hard to imagine. They were all sitting together watching rough cuts of each other's films.
And I can see it, you know. I think it was very. You can tell with that era, very supportive. You know, when I hear things about, you know, A Color Purple set or, you know, the other filmmakers, they've supported each other in big ways. You know, how Spike Lee needed support on the Malcolm X film. You know, just from the community. So it's definitely about the people we meet on the way up. You know,
for sure. And some of his, I'm actually a really big Spike Lee fan, and I also really like Jim Jarmusch, who he went to NYU with. And his films are crazy good, but they're weird. But anyway, all right. So, second question is, name a film that you consider underrated.
Underrated? Oh, man, I would have to say The 5 Heartbeats.
Nice.
Classic. Robert Townsend, you know, character development's amazing, story, all the characters, the world behind that, and then when you understand the hustle behind making that film or how he made films during that time, like, you really appreciate. I think it goes underappreciated, but you really appreciate the film, you know. But I didn't know until like mid 2000, like 05, 06, that the 5 Heartbeats wasn't a real group. You know, I thought it was a real group. They was jamming. It was you know, reminded you of the Temptations a little bit. You know, Temptations was a great biopic, but the fact that the 5 Heartbeats, not a real group, can stand up next to the Temptations biopic movie, I think that speaks to the creator. So I think it's an underrated film. I love. Shout out to Robert Townsend.
For sure. And I mean, he hit so big with Hollywood Shuffle.
Absolutely.
And then that was the follow-up, right? That was the second one. Mm-hmm. And so he got a better budget, and he made it about something he was really passionate about.
Yes.
And then stupid Hollywood didn't support it, didn't get the advertising it deserved.
Yes.
It kind of came and went. I was actually in college when that came out. So, you know, college kids, they run out and see those less popular movies, right? But I remember like loving it and thinking this would be as big as Hollywood Shuffle was, and like it did not get the support it deserved.
I think it got big on tape when it went to VHS, and when it went inside of homes, then that's when it transformed. That's when I seen it. Of course, it came in the early 90s, but it was in my grandmother's home. We watched it. Temptations, 5 Heartbeats, Titanic. You know, these certain movies that was on repeat in my grandmother's home, and we watched that. So it was the power of the VHS back in the day, or the DVD, but in that case, the VHS.
There was, well, I won't, it'll take too long, but I am just going to share that I am holding back bemoaning the wonderful days of home video when you actually got to choose what you watch. Because it's different to go on to a streaming service and have 10,000 titles, and like it's just different.
Yeah.
It's just different than having that VHS tape or that DVD that you just pop in because you want to watch it again. Or you rent it on Friday and you're going to actually invite some friends over Saturday because it was so good you want to watch it again with them.
Right.
So
Blockbuster days, I get it.
Good times. Very good times.
And then what was the other one you asked?
Well, the next question is going to be a film that you feel is overrated.
Oh, man, I would say I want to work with it, so hopefully y'all don't bite me in the butt. But all of them the fast after six.
Oh, you give them 6.
I'm trying to be nice.
Yeah.
You know, I'm trying to be nice. Which one Paul passed away? 4 or 3? 5. So
I saw the first one.
What was it? Like 5. So that's why I'm saying 6. Like, okay, like, yeah, it just started dwindling away. But I think that's a little overrated.
I'm with you, and I because I can tell you're a kind person with a good heart. Like, it's not saying it's a bad film, right? It's just saying the hoopla around it not as deserved as it. Like you're saying, like those were great concepts in the beginning,
great, right?
Great, but
after a while, we know his family, we know his backstabbing. When you start throwing people in space, and you remember when Jason went to space? Jason X. I don't know if you ever watched Jason, like Friday the 13th.
Oh no, I totally missed that.
So you ever seen Friday the 13th, like the horror films and stuff, the little slasher films back in the day?
To be honest, no. And I got a teenager who loves horror, but I keep trying to get her to watch the original Halloween with me, and she won't.
So okay, so all right, so you know Michael Myers then, right?
Yeah.
Imagine Michael Myers in space. You know how many Halloweens they did, and I think I stopped watching after a while. When they brought Jamie Lee Curtis back, I did watch it because I love her. But imagine them throwing Michael Myers in space. You're like, okay, they just went far left. Like, how?
We call it jumping the shark, right? Jumping the shark.
So kind of that thing. When you see him going to space, like, all right, we didn't got too far, guys. Let's reel it back in.
They did that with James Bond, too, with that dumb Moonraker movie. But anyway, all right. And I appreciate you for answering that one, but by the way, like we're saying, you're not saying the Fast and Furious series isn't a great thing. You're saying at some point it loses a little artistic value.
If it stimulates the economy, I love it. So I'm with it. I'm with it, guys.
Gotta sell that popcorn.
Gotta sell it, baby.
You need popcorn movies too. You really do.
We do.
We love education. We love to learn and enlighten. But sometimes you just want a good time too.
You know what was a good time movie that 3 wasn't okay before was great? Bad Boys. Bad Boys for Life. Maybe this last one here. It was definitely a great popcorn movie, family movie, where I can see it. Don't go too crazy, guys, but I can see it going into like this, Bad Boys 5, probably one more 6, you know what I'm saying? But like, it was entertaining and a good popcorn movie. So we definitely need those. I
feel you.
Yeah.
All right. Sounds good. And then there's just one more left, which is a lesser known film that people should seek out.
This movie called, and you'll probably get a little bit of this title, but The Inevitable Defeat of Mr. and Pete.
Oh, I don't know it. I better write that down.
The Inevitable Defeat of Mr. and Pete. I think it's produced by Jennifer Hudson, but great movie about these two kids. One black boy, the other one's a little Asian boy. But they both are in poverty, dealing with the same situations, and they're trying to survive the summer with their moms being absent, for being their moms have an addiction and they're absent, and they're trying to survive the summer. And guess the title, The Inevitable Defeat. These kids are fighting. These kids is fighting, and they're from both 2 different cultural backgrounds, but have the same struggles. And like we recognize their culture and race, but poor is poor, hungry is hungry. You know what I'm saying? And you see that in this film, and that's a real tearjerker. So that's one I definitely want people to check out: The Inevitable Defeat of Mr. and Pete.
Excellent. I already wrote it down. I just saved the Wikipedia page while you were talking because that sounds excellent. And what you said is so true about culturally, we really categorize people,
right?
But we don't have to. Like there are shared experiences everywhere, and honestly, I can't help but share. You probably have heard this, but I remember that Magic Johnson. This again gives away my era, but Magic Johnson always kind of disrespected Larry Bird and figured he was a privileged white boy, right? And then they shot a McDonald's commercial in French Lick, Indiana, where Larry Bird grew up, and Magic Johnson was like, "Oh my, these people are more poor than we were." And all of a sudden he understood, they both came from poverty, and the game of basketball is what lifted them up and allowed them to lift their families up, and how much they actually had in common without knowing it.
Right.
And if he hadn't gone to his hometown for a McDonald's commercial, they were both getting paid absurd, wonderful amounts of money that they deserved for, because Too bad they played when they did, huh? Think how much more money they'd have if they played today.
Right.
I mean, my goodness. But anyway, all right, I had to share that.
But put yourself in other people's shoes, exactly what you're saying. Like, you don't know what that other person experiencing and going through in their life, and just be a little bit more considerate, for the other man, other human.
Maybe respect each other?
A little bit,
not a bad idea.
Not a bad idea.
I love it.
Goes a long way.
It really does. It really does. Well, hey, excellent. That's why these 4 questions ones are supposed to be a little quicker. So we got it done nicely. Excellent list.
Fun, Jeff.
Excellent list. Thank you so much. And like I said, check the show notes so you can see all of Dominique's work and learn all about it, and follow him. Heck, and send him a message on Instagram. I don't know if you want random people, but anyway.
Yeah, send me a message, guys, at Draper Boy Media. Send me a message. I'm here.
Draper Boy Media. Excellent. And I will get us out of here with my closing series of links and things I'll share with you. Thank you for listening to the Discover Indie Film podcast. If you want to learn more about it, go to discoverindiefilm.com. If you want to see it on social media, it's at DIFWins. By the way, discoverindiefilm.org is the nonprofit that runs 2 film festivals. And those festivals are the Sherman Oaks Film Festival and Film Invasion Los Angeles. So we hold Sherman Oaks Film Festival every December. And you can learn more if you go to ShermanOaksFF.com. And it's at ShermanOaksFF on social media. That one, Film Invasion Los Angeles, is filminvasionla.com or at filminvasionla on social media. And finally, the Indie Channel. Just check out the Indie Channel. Go to your smart TV if you got Roku, Amazon Fire TV, Apple TV, Android TV, or you got maybe you own a smartphone. Like, who doesn't own a smartphone?
Everybody.
I wish, every once in a while, like twice a year, you see someone at the market and they have a flip phone with no screen, and I think, oh, your mind is working better than mine. Because I think my attention span's been destroyed by that thing.
Yes.
But if I didn't have it, how could I take pictures of that guinea pig whenever I want to? Anyway, I never mentioned him, but we are sitting 12 feet from
He's
a...
chilling. He's chilling.
Taking a nap. All right. Well, he probably wants some fresh cucumber. Oh, so anyway, I said everything I need to. But yeah, you can go to, for Indie Channel, go to indiechannel.tv. All right. Dominique, thank you so much for coming by.
Thank you, Jeff.
And thank you, everyone, for listening.